when they first started the program, and one of their top remote viewers they ever had was remote viewing. They gave him like coordinates, and he remote viewed the Mars. And he was talking about how he was seeing these shadowy figures, and in that community, shadowy is code word for black. Um, Tell us a little bit about the history of black people in Mars. There's been so many different stories I've heard, whether it's Bobby Hemmett, whether it's the Moors, whether it's this person. What can you tell us the history of blacks and this specific planet, Mars?
Look, there's 7 major planets in the solar system. There has been a time in our history where we have been to every one of them.
Every one of them.
Every one of them. But remember, these brown bodies is only about 2,000, 3,000 years old.
Mm.
We were shades of olive and green and marine blue. Right? Those colors has changed because of the chemical composition of what we made of has changed. We used to breathe ozone as our primary oxygen source, which is a double oxygen molecule. And we used to be under, the ozone used to be all the way on the ground, which means higher pressure. Right? And the combination of the two and the way that we are attracting sun at the time, we growing colossal in size. Right? But now we smaller. We no longer have what we call magnesium copper conversion. Now we have iron copper conversion. And iron rusting gives us our shades of wheat, which takes us to the Popol Vuh, the Mayan Bible, as they call it. And they tell you in there that man was made from maize. That's what they talk about. The different carbon tones. But if we take our iron and substitute it for magnesium, our blood would look like chlorophyll. You know, so we've been through so many different cycles. We change the rules at every new cycle because you got to write a new history. Listen, we eternal beings. That's important. We living for eternity.
It's a long time, Rod.
What the hell we supposed to do all that time?
Figure some shit out.
So we break life up into 100-year segments and live a different life every 100 years, every 1,000 years. But we have to break eternity up into bite-sized pieces in order to even grasp what it is. Right? So this gives us the phenomenon called death, which is actually just entropy.
Yo, Rod, I don't know if I ever told you this, yo. So check this out. When I was young, like I'm a calm dude for the most part. You know, I could I don't get anxious when situations present itself. I know how to really tap in and solve any situation that I'm presented with. But when I was young, one thing that gave me extreme anxiety, I think I told you this before, is the idea of thinking about eternity, thinking about living forever. When I'm talking about 5, 6 years old, because they teach you about God and shit, and in my mind, I'm just like, what the fuck is forever? How the fuck I'm gonna live forever? Yo, what? And I used to just come up with a million questions about how am I going about eternity and how that's going to be, whatever. But that gave me extreme anxiety, Rod, to the point where I had to eventually I just said, you know what? I'm going to stop thinking about it and, whatever happens, happens. But there was a couple of years when thinking about eternity, some weird shit gave me extreme anxiety, man. So when you said that just now, when you was like, we eternal beings, I'm like, oh shit, I had that thought again.
Yeah,
I got triggered, Rod.
What you went through is called the chrysalis of awakening. Before you can realize your immortal eternal self, you first have to come to terms with your physically mortal self. You got to come to terms that you're not going to always be in the body.
Right.
right? But how you perceive the body is where the anxiety comes from. It makes you agitated.
Yeah.
That what we call adrenaline response to a concept or idea floods the body and then looking for the threat, and the threat is absence of knowledge.
Mm. Mm.
As soon as you start to understand that outside of the physical body, we don't feel. If we came into this life on 3D Earth and we felt stuff and we loved genuinely and we was able to experience genuine love, we get outside the body.
Mm-hmm.
Every emotion we felt, every anger, we celebrate that stuff.
Mm. Mm.
Because we had the opportunity to be more than intellect.
Right. Right.
Right. We had the opportunity to experience success and failure. When you a God, you don't even know what the hell failure. You have to create failure in order to even know that failure exists.
Wow.
But when you mortal, you have to stop being scared of failure in order to find success. It's just the opposite.
Ain't that some shit?
Right? This size above, so below, but it's a mirror. 6 on the ground look like 9 in the sky. Mm-hmm. 9 in the sky look like 6 on the ground. Or you could flip it. Depending on the angle you looking at the 9. Is you looking at it from the top or the bottom?
Right, right, right.
Right? So it's perception.
Yeah.
Your whole life is predicated upon whose perception do you accept to tell you what life means. You're supposed to read all them books, not for the sake of reading books. It serves two purposes. It allows you to have a glimpse in the perspective of somebody else, be it fiction or nonfiction. Right? Then it also allows you an opportunity to exercise the brain like you do weightlifting for the body.
Right, right, right.
When you hear them talk about like Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, they call them, those are intellectual giants. They wasn't born that way. Mm-hmm. They had to work out. They had to exercise that man. Shake anti-Diop. Right? Yeah. Amazing scientists. Amazing. Don't nobody even know that he was one of the pioneers in carbon-13 dating. Mm. Then he went on to take it further and came up with other types of dating systems based on the decay of elements.
Right, right.
Right? Why do the elements decay? That's entropy. Right? From chaos they came, and to chaos they return. Only way you can avoid the entropy is you have to reach what we call absolute zero, where you gain no energy, lose no energy. Mm-hmm. Right? Or you burn the exact same amount that you consume. There's no loss. As soon as the energy begins to be lost, them opinions. It sets in entropy. Right? When you understand the reason why you have fear, it's telling you where you need to be educated. If you're scared of hell, find out where it came from. Is hell really there? Did man's mind invented hell out of his paranoia? Right? Is heaven really there? Or did man have grandiose delusions of a potential utopia and wrote a story about heaven? Right? You can live hell or heaven on earth. You don't got to be dead to live, man, one of them. But we so busy letting somebody tell us how to live, we don't know the difference in the two on earth. Because we have hell one day and heaven the next. Right? The vicissitudes, the ups and downs, the ins and outs of life. If we taught our children that they're supposed to have struggles in life, I guarantee you that the suicide rate will plummet by 90% in 5 years. Just by telling the children that, in life sometime, baby, you're supposed to struggle in order to get stronger. Life supposed to get hard when you get too complacent at being nothing in order to make you into something.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why you go into that apathetic state. Now remember, religion is engineered, designed as a military tool to stir up the apathetic state in all of the children. They applied it through education. School is not a socio political word. It's a religious word from a specific religion. Right? But then using linguistics, they manipulate it a little bit and you don't know where it came from, so you don't know what you're doing. That's that go along to get along, obedience to authority mentality. Right? They did a whole study on people's obedience to authority. Right? And they did one called the Zimbardo's prison study. Right? Zimbardo took regular people, regular Joes, and divided them up. Half of y'all inmates, half of y'all prisoners. Y'all can leave this program anytime y'all get ready to. All you have to do is ask. Then they played out a scenario. They did this in Arizona, in a university in Arizona. And they play out the scenario. The cops, the ones they appointed as the correction officers, became aggressive and abusive to the inmates. The inmates became slick, conniving, trying to run scams on people, all this stuff. In a 6-month prison study, it amazed them at how quick the inmates became inmates and the guards became predatory prison guards.
Damn. Do you think, I was talking to you about psychic powers and abilities, and one of the things people say is that people in what they call third world countries, they're able to tap in to these supernatural abilities more because they're not, they don't have all the lights in the city and the distraction around them. Do you feel as though when you were in prison, were you able to tap more into certain abilities because you didn't think about rent, think about a goddamn avocado that costs $3 if it's organic? Was your ability to tap into these latent things that they talk about, it wasn't more prevalent and when you were locked up, Rod?
So what you're talking about is sensory deprivation that allows you to tap into other senses. The time that I did locked up, when you locked up, you have worries just like people in the street, but you got a different set of worries. Right? What comes with the new environment comes a new set of responsibilities. And certain stuff, like instead of worrying about how I'm going to pay my rent or my light or my gas, I'm wondering how am I going to make commissary? How am I going to get my next set of books in? How am I going to make sure I can pay for my hygiene stuff? So the struggle is still the same in the penitentiary as it is in the street. We still have distractions. You got the dude stabbing the other dude, the guy having to fight with the police. You got the guy over there trying to have a relationship with the other guy. All this stuff is still going on around you. It's just in another world. It's in another structure of reality that still have to give you something to keep your mind focused on, and to restrict you from being able to tap into more consciousness. But the thing is it's not necessarily third world countries, because if you go down to people that live in the rural countryside, we be sitting on the porch, they'll hear something way out in the field, and you be like, what are you talking about? Until you see that this big old buck deer run out, and he's like, I knew it was one out there, I tried to tell you. Right? Because they became acclimated to the environment, and the things that they mind focus on is more localized to their environment. It's the same whether you're in prison, whether you're in the projects, or whether you're in the penthouse. Your local environment is what's going to absorb most of what you consciously focus on a day-to-day basis. You will always have some kind of concern about the local environment around you because that's your area of control. So the circumstances might change, but what draws the attention of the mind is what matters. When you're more out into nature, more stuff nature related sync to your mind. That's why Dr. Doolittle could talk with animals. He lived on a ranch.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, man. That's some serious stuff. What do you think about, like, in terms, Rod, of well, let me ask you this before I ask you that. Is it gonna get, we talk about so many things and our DNA waking back up and coming online. Are people going to start to live longer, Rod? Like, is this thing where people live to be 110, is that going to increase? Are we going to see people live to 300, 400? What do you see in the next 100 years in terms of the belief system we have called aging? Is that going to change drastically?
The field of gerontology deals with the science of getting old.
Mm.
And back in the 90s is when I first encountered the work of a grad student at the time named Dr. Cynthia Kenyon.
Yeah.
She was working on extending human life way back then. And I think she went on to win a Nobel Peace Prize for her research in aging. Now they are releasing technology that's known to be capable of regenerating your body. The body is just the avatar. You can have more than one if you know how to jump from one to the next, right? And the avatar is programmed, and the program is on the chip, and the chip is called DNA. The chip is powered by mitochondria. So when you're looking at the ability to move in, you got to go to telomere science. Because when you go back to ancient Sumer, it tells you why man don't live for 100 over 100 and some years, because the scientists altered the genome, which goes back to what we was reading here earlier about the gods having the ability to give the light to lesser beings,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is what they're talking about. But the light can be activated. What they coming up with is all this stuff is old Atlantean technology rediscovered. The From the cryogenics where they froze Big Tookie and then kept him in Area 51 to the Bajinga tribe who telepathically told the scientists how to thaw him out, and been working with scientists in Antarctica since the 50s, and they still look the same.
Mm.
But they're a different genetic stock of human.
Mm.
But they look like they straight out of the jungle of Africa. And
Right.
then they tried to tell us this fairy tale that they captured some Africans and turned them loose in Antarctica, and they just became nomadic giants on the land, knowing everything to do. No, them people down there was the ones they thawed out of the ice that had been froze for thousands of years. Bashinga tribe. That's what they called them.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's some serious stuff. That when you first told me about Tukey and they froze him. At first, I was like, "Yo, Rod is bugging. What is he?" But now I'm like, "Nah, that makes I can see them doing that."
Big Tookie was what you call Mr. Untouchable. You was never supposed to execute him because he was one of the chiefs that was supposed to negotiate the close of the contract. It was three main chiefs appointed. It was 44 Blue, which is Big Tookie, 44 Red, which is Chief Malik Angel Bay, Jeff Ford, and then it was the Big Six, which stands in the middle as the chairman of the board, Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover's original job from birth was always to collect the information from Angel Bay and Big Tookie and give a report to the people on the land about the invasion and the war effort. He can't do his job when the government attack him, take him off the board. None of them.
Mm.
That's where the COINTELPRO whole mission statement begins to rest in the mind of the victims of the COINTELPRO operations and tell them what the government was doing to ever keep us from reclaiming our birthright. But if one chief can figure out who we at war with, they look like us, but they ain't us, they Negropeans, that changes the whole dynamic. And now that gives us back what we call jurisdictional control of the land or jurisdictional sovereignty Now we have to go through this whole governmental transitional process to transfer from the corporate to the republic back to the tribes. Now we done pretty much got rid of the whole corporate government. Now the republic got to restore the tribes. The restored republic is what it's
Melanated, Moorish looking being. And there in the UFO community, you never hear them referencing those beings. How come?
They want us to believe that the only melanated people that ever existed was us on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
The
Which is
people,
quite
look,
different.
they got people that's melanated that come from other systems. They
Mm-hmm.
dark as whatever that is behind you.
That's right.
And you see their eyes. If they don't smile, you won't even know they got teeth.
That's right.
Right? But they got something else. If they stand in direct sunlight,
The
they
golden.
glisten.
Yeah. And that's, we were talking about the gold mining could be linked to melanin that has connected some of that genetic hybriding that could be in certain people.
Well, we used to eat gold. In Atlantis, all we ate was couscous.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is why we was able to perform things at a higher consciousness level.
Octave. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that we built on the earth, we built it in the fourth and fifth dimension,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's solidified in the 3D.
Yes.
But that's a whole level of tech that we haven't got back to,
But
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 we on
even
our way there.
yeah, but even so, when you go to a lot of these high end parties, they're eating gold flakes on their plates. They still eat gold. Monatomic gold is another form of, the omis gold,
Ormus, yep. The
ormus
ormus
gold.
is what we used to call the couscous.
Yes, yes. So it's still being consumed, just not to the degree, and people aren't utilizing it alchemically to use telekinesis like we used to.
Yeah, not only telekinesis, but all of the psychic abilities, including the ability to accelerate your cellular structure. So
Ah, yeah.
and you relax your cellular structure, you can walk through a wall.
Yes. Well, the blinkers, the African blinkers, are linked to those so-called melanated tall beings. They've been denoted even in battles, so-called galactic battles. No one fought them and could fight them because they would blink out of reality, like in
Simeon
dimensions.
Toko.
Yes, yes, yes.
Simeon Toko, he wasn't the only one. He's just the only one they found.
Yep.
We come in teams, whether we Earthborn or
That's
whether we
right.
Starfleet.
That's right.
We come in teams.
You
Just
see
like I'm
one,
over
but you
here,
may not see them all. Yeah.
yeah. And just like I'm over here, I'm using social media as the means to inform,
Mm-hmm.
right? But Ibrahim Traore is over there, and he's using a different method. But he's reaching all of the people of the continent.
That's right.
Right? Everything that Muammar Gaddafi tried to do, the pressure on Ibrahim Traore is forcing Gaddafi's programs to the forefront.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And the worst thing they can do, they think they want to take him out. You'd be better off letting him live.
They'll martyr him and they'll lose. That'll be a losing battle.
And what we don't understand is it's not just the African continent that's behind him. We behind him too. You got Haitians talking about hands off Ibrahim Traore. You got Jamaicans talking about hands off Ibrahim Traore. Cubans
Right.
talking about hands off Ibrahim Traore.
That's right.
You got people in Brazil, in Guatemala, in Chile, in Mexico. They all saying the same thing. Leave that man alone unless you want the whole melanated world to rebel against
You're
your
gonna have
whole
beef,
structure.
and we already know that melanation. There's only 7% Europeans on the Earth, and we constitute over 90.
But the problem is that in that 90, about probably 20% of them, they the enemy too.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that we want them to be our enemy. They said that we was their enemy, whether we want to be or not.
Well, it's a long-standing war that we don't even know we're coexisting in.
Right. So what we was trying to recover from was the Great Debauchery.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody hear me talk about the Great Debauchery, the Great Debauchery. Don't nobody know what it was. It was the genetic waste product that they created that needed a drop of original blood for the ascension rites. That's what the Great Debauchery was. That's why the caduceus, the symbol of the double helix, is all over the world. Asclepius staff, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it was all about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why they're going back to the blood test. Nature knows no color line,
It doesn't.
but it know a rotten motherfucker from a good motherfucker though.
Frequency doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Animals and
That's why I
children.
tell people if you introduce me to somebody and I automatically don't like them, please don't bring them back around me.
It's true. It's interesting, right? Like you can feel it right
Yeah,
away.
it's
Yeah.
so rare that I automatically dislike a person that when I automatically dislike a person, I pay attention. I used to try to overcome it. I could be his friend. No, motherfucker, we can't be friends.
No, my mother used to tell me that your first impression is the lasting, and what it is at the beginning is a pre. Or it's a pre. What she call it is in French. It's like a preview of something that will happen
Mm-hmm.
that you're already experiencing, so you know it exists. That's why you feel it initially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot that we have closed our minds to through the agency of colonization.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why one of the most important books in the proper countermeasure protocol is Dr. Neely Fuller, United Independent Compensatory Code Concept for Breaking the Chains of White Supremacy.
Can you when we get off? Can you write that down? Just send
I'll
that to
send
me.
you a cover of the book. And
Thank you.
I'll send you the Amazon link so you can order it.
Thank you.
And he
Thank
have
you.
a second edition that deals I think it's like a dictionary.
Okay.
Yeah, but he identified the 9 areas of people activity. I added a 10th, health, because the common denominator to economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. If you ain't got health, you can't do none of that.
Speak it. Health is wealth.
Right. And that's the 10th because it's the common denominator in all names.
Well, it's the one thing that they are purposefully attacking is the health of the humanity right now, perpetually with the food, the chemtrails, the soil, the blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Every which way, people are being incepted with some form of biological poison, and it's purposefully done because no matter how conscious we are, how rah we get, if we ain't feeling well, we can't get up to fight or even talk or even be conscious about a conversation like this the next day.
I know Bobby Kennedy said that they've been feeding us a look-alike food substance.
Oh, replications. Remember, like on Star Trek, you got the replicator? Like the replicator, like, oh, it tastes like a burger. It may even look like a burger, but it's certainly not a burger. Okay. I don't think we've had food ever since they've, even with the whole concept of Whole Foods, creating a store called Whole Foods, and Monsanto had incepted it. What was this, over like 10 years ago? All foods have been incepted with some sort of glyphosate, which is in all the wheats. And I always tell people the only way you can be certain of food is if you grow it yourself and you create those things from yourself. I am a proponent of putting hands in the soil. That's why you don't see nails on me, because my hand is always in the soil. We create our own substance for our babies, for our grandbabies, for our families. We weren't meant to eat from third parties. How could you ever feel secure eating from the enemy's hands? You know what I mean? That's why they had welfare, because they want you to go to their gross restores. You know what I mean? It's gross and it's a restore. Okay? If that's not telling you what it is, that's it. You go into the store and there's soy and everything. That's why the boys are wearing purses and high heels. You know what I mean? I tell mothers all the time, breast milk is the best milk for your babies. You're seeing worms inside of your formula because listen to the word formula. Why would you ever want to give a baby something that is formalized by in a laboratory by the enemy? Your breast create the perfect alchemical milk that sustains a baby in every which way. If the baby has a cold, the mother will geoengineer alchemically the proper milk to build the antibodies to build the health of the baby. So I
But
would
that's what
say,
a cold is anyway.
absolutely.
A cold is you've encountered a foreign agent that your body has never experienced, and the colostrum in your mother didn't warn you about. So now you have to go through the process of analyzing and engineering a biological defense against it in the future. You never catch the same cold twice. They just call them a cold.
That's right.
Ain't got nothing to do with being cold either, because you can catch them in the summertime.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's,
all that's trickery.
it is.
It's
It
only
is.
two temperature related illnesses: hypothermia and hyperthermia.
Oh, very good. Yes. Yes.
Freezing to death or heat stroke.
And most viruses are all really, if we speak about it, most viruses are what we perceive to be viruses or diseases or cycle or product byproducts of your psychological disease of not being able to alchemically deal with some of the trauma-based programming that you're not acknowledging. And also parasites. There are parasites in everything. Parasites are most likely the number one cause of every single issue virally that's going on, including mold and spores that are in a lot of things with the amped up radiation, which we talk about Fukushima and also Chernobyl, and talk about the black mold that was eating the radiation. And I always tell people radiation and mold are like best friends and they're symbiotic. So when you have sugar, which is their number one source of food source, and they put sugar in toothpaste, lotions. They tell you to they put sugar in a very anything that doesn't even require it. That you're giving the food source to the parasites, the molds, and then you have amped up fiber optics all over the planet that was instituted during 2020 when they asked us to stay in our houses. And then you wonder why people are getting like these super duper enhanced ga 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 showing up and taking them out in 2.5 seconds.
Well, it's not the sugar.
Oh,
It's the bleaching agent in the sugar
oh
that's toxic.
yes. Yes, yes.
Like 80% of your glucose consumption is used for neural functioning.
Mm, you do need it. Yes.
So, but the problem is the bleaching agents that they use. Remember, when we used to cook confectionaries, we used to use syrups that come from trees,
Yes.
sugar cane, sugar
Tap the tree.
beets,
Yeah.
right?
Dates.
Or or we use a brown sugar,
Always. Always.
right?
Yes.
And the reason being is we didn't bleach it. Natural sugar is tan,
It is.
but they don't want you eating natural sugar because it
No.
doesn't have a bleaching agent in it.
And if people, and that's why white is always denoted to be, it's projected as being clean and cleansed. So people psychologically think if it's not white, it's not right.
Hmm. And
Right.
then you got the flour. And
Mhm.
flour not bad, but the bleaching agent they use to bleach the flour, so
And the
it's not a off,
hybridization. Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's not an
hybridization.
off white yellow color
Yep.
with the natural color of flour.
Yes.
White flour is not natural;
No.
it's
And
bleached.
But
But
when you mill when you mill the actual when you mill the actual grain, it's really fine, beautiful tan, little darkish. It's beautiful and the texture is really nice. But they don't teach people that. And also the hybridized wheat that's been geoengineered by our handy dandy governmental agents of bioweaponry, they created the most hostile wheat, which, back in the days no one had gluten issues. We ate Wonder Bread, for God's sake. Wonder Bread was the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches you could ever have was on
oh
some
yeah,
Wonder
I
Bread. Remember
remember.
that? Woo, boy,
I
I could
remember.
smell it. You know what I mean?
Remember, we want some Wonder Bread. I remember.
Oh my God, it was soft. It was. Did you ever get sick from it? My mother never got sick from it. Nobody got sick from Wonder Bread. It was like, and we wrote in fifth grade. Our teachers had us write to the companies, and we had to write the ingredients and say how wonderful we liked each of the, kind of. I wrote for Wonder. I wrote to run Wonder Bread and some other bread company, and there was only like four ingredients. Okay, flour, maybe yeast,
Eggs,
yeah,
yeast.
something. It was four ingredients. I can remember it because I wrote to them, and then they send us coupons. So my dad used it was so cute. They sent us coupons for the appreciation. I loved the school back in the days. I mean, it was so simple, but it made you feel like you had a stake in things and that they heard you. But
That's why they changed it.
they did. They did. And the little boys, when you go in the grocery store, I tell mommy, it's like I go through when I have my little girls, like You read the ingredients. Soy lecithin is in every single cracker, all these donuts and cookies, and I see beautiful mommies walking out with their little boys with these crackers that are bioweapons to their testosterone, and the plastic bottles that are bombarding men with this estrogen mimicker that is making men either hyper feminine or causing testicular issues. It's a lot of things going on.
What's the number one weed that's the pariah to a green lawn?
The number one weed to a green lung.
Lawn with your grass.
Oh, dandelions. You're talking about dandelions are beautiful. You mean dandelions?
That's medicine.
Yes, yes. It's good for you.
That's medicine.
Yeah.
Dandelion clean the liver.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, we used to make jelly out of the tops. We used to milk the stalk, and we
Mm-hmm.
used to eat dandelion greens.
That's right. All the time. Still in the South. My mother-in-law, that's what she used to make, was
But
dandelion
now
greens.
they got us spraying this orca stuff on there because we think that they
Oh,
bad.
that's,
They come,
oh, you mean, yeah, on the
yeah, they come
lawns.
treat your grass and get rid of your dandelions for you because that's an
Listen,
eyesore to your green lawn.
I was living in Mount Vernon because I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, and the Italian women would come straight off the boat from Italy and Sicily, and the first thing they would do is go on the lawns of everybody's lawn. What they picking? Dandelions, dandelions, just picking them. They thought it was like, oh my god, free. You know what I mean? Because to them it was such a big deal. But that lets the mindset of the forgetting of the medicinal purposes of why things show up. Even with the garden, when you garden, when something's going on with you, your garden will manifest the medicine that is to heal you. So you'll see all of a sudden like a whole patch of marigolds show up, and you're like, oh, interesting. Someone's going through something heart wise. They need a little healing. So let's bring the marigolds in and like crush it or eat it. Even with teaching the little ones how to forage and look for the little things that they can eat. And everything in the garden that grows in and around you within 20 feet is your medicine.
No, this is something I seen when I was a little boy, and I didn't understand it until like I got up in age. My big mama, she used to love watermelon just like my mama, and they both
Mm,
used to do this one little thing they used to do. They suck on the seeds and put them
the
in the
DNA.
bowl,
That's right.
right? They suck on the seeds, put them in the bowl, and they used to grow the sweetest watermelons I ever tasted, and
To
I
their
could never
palate.
understand. I'm like, why did? Because I asked my mama, why y'all be sucking on them seeds?
Yeah,
She say so we can get ready to plant them.
that's right. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, she's sucking on a goddamn watermelon seed to plant.
That's that DNA, honey.
Yeah, so they suck on the seed and whatever they thinking about, they charge in the seed.
Mm,
Then
power.
they have to they spit them in the bowl and they sit the bowl in the window to dry in the sun.
Mhm. It's embedded.
And then they go out when planting season come and plant watermelon.
Oh, I love it. They were clever women, conscious women. Even
But
with when we give birth, that's another thing. Like in our culture, we were taught that after our afterbirth, when we come home with our babies intact, because you don't cut off the umbilical cord because that blood has to resurge inside of the baby. And then when it naturally falls off, we were always taught to dig a hole 6 feet deep. And every medicinal seed that we had was held in a ceremony, and we would plant our birthing sac inside of the ground. And when those herbs grew, it would be the medicine for daddy, baby, and mommy, and the whole family. And it would have the genetic and kinetic information from the afterbirth in order to give the medicine to the baby and the mommy and the daddy.
well, if you go down to Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, in the backwoods, and you try to cut certain trees down,
Yeah,
the people in that family gonna go ballistic,
that's right.
right? Because we used to plant seeds of trees where we bury the elderly,
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I love
and
this.
we just like in the movie Avatar, how they go into the tree.
Ewa, yes.
Yeah, the boys, we be all up in the tree. Matter of fact, it's a picture around here my brother got. I'm gonna see if I can show it to
That's
you. Hold on.
Granny. That's Granny. Yeah, because that Granny up in the tree. That's Granny tree.
It's over there. Hold on, I'm gonna grab this
Yeah, go
picture and
get, go
show it
get
to
it. Oh my God, yes. Isn't that so true, y'all? It's so beautiful. So bury your family in a tree, a beautiful magnolia tree, and then you go and you smell your mom or your dad or grandma. Isn't it so beautiful? I mean, that's the way we're supposed to honor our loved ones. Oh my God.
you. The name of this picture is called Blackbirds.
Oh, I love it. Let
You
me
see
open
all
it.
those children in the trees?
Yes, yes. Oh my God, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Oh my God, do you guys see this? That is beautiful. Wait, hold on. I want to spotlight you. How do I do this? Hold on, y'all. How do I spotlight you? Hold on, Rod. Stay right there. Just 1 minute. I want to spotlight you. Can I spotlight you? God darn it. You won't let me do it.
It was doing it automatically before I was talking. It's not doing it now. But look,
It's beautiful. Oh man. That reminds me of the Black Panther. Remember when he went into when he took the purple herb and he went into the ancestral realm and they were and the ancestors were in the trees? That's a
yeah,
reference. Remember, they used to hurt us. Like on our island, I remember there were stories like when some of the Europeans came, in order to hurt us, they would go to some of our older trees and they would try to cut them down to hurt us personally.
they
To like, yeah.
they made lumberjacks into heroes so that we wouldn't protest them mass harvesting the trees,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? But we forget that, well, a lot of us are unaware. We used to be able to walk from the Louisiana border of Texas all the way to Florida without never leaving the treetops.
Oh, so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
You can get to the Florida Keys. You can leave the Florida Keys in the treetops and travel all the way up through the Appalachian Mountains into New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio. All of the trees is gone. I'm surprised we can even breathe over here.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. And they only plant now male trees. That's why we have all the weird pollen and allergies because they're supposed to pollinate the female trees and create fruits. So they don't want that. So now you have people just breathing in, all of the pollen from the one homogeneous group of trees. I mean, I think they're psychopaths, personally.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I used to be wondering. I used to ask my mom, why they keep cutting down all the trees? Because my mom used to say, because they the devil.
I love your mama. That's right. Go
I
ahead.
didn't,
So
I
that's
didn't know what
right.
she was talking about. Mom,
She
why they
was
keep cutting
right.
down all the trees? Because they the devil.
That's right. She knew. She knew their names. That's what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? They're sentient too. You ever like, I remember I was really sad and I would go a little girl, like you just like in almost it's like inside of you to go and sit underneath the tree. It's like it's almost like the tree calls you, like, psst, come over here. Psst, come sit underneath us. Let's give you an energetic hug. And you would sit underneath the tree. I would always have like my little notebook and sit underneath the tree. I'd be sad about something trivial, and just sit underneath the tree. And I tell you, no, no, within maybe 5 minutes, whatever bothered me, it almost dissipated.
The tree
It's
is steady, stable energy.
mhm.
The bigger the tree is, the older the tree is, the more stable the energy the tree can
Yes,
help you balance out your energies.
yes.
Look, I went to Florida, to
Mhm.
Tallahassee, and I had a communication with a tree that told me when I get back, touch the big tree by your house.
Because they could
Look,
talk at the roots, yes.
I'm sitting there and I'm laughing at myself. I'm like, how the hell that tree know I got a tree by my house?
Because they know they got that
Right.
network.
So look, I get back home, I forget. I forget to go out and touch the tree.
Yeah,
Because that's how he told me he had to pass the information.
yeah.
Right? So about 5, 6, 7 days go by. And I'm laying in the bed. I just got there, I'm about halfway through a blunt. And I hear the tree say, hey. I do like this. I'm like, what the? He said, hey. So I say, I'm tripping. I must be getting high, getting a download. He said, it's not a download. This is the tree. You remember me from Florida?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He's like, when are you gonna go touch the tree outside? It was
Oh,
look, it was the bright sunny day. So the tree is literally in the front, right next to the driveway.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out here and touch this damn tree. Cause I don't want this motherfucker coming back to me no more, getting on my nerves,
Harassing you
right?
in your sleep and your rest. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got an excellent sense of humor. So I go outside, I take off my shoes because he told me when I was down there, I had on my flip flops. He said, you know, is you can't communicate with the tree correctly with them shoes on.
Not with them rubber shoes. Nah.
So I take my shoes off. I had somebody standing there with me. Aretha Stone was standing there with me, and he was trying to get me to do libation to the tree. I said, tree don't want me to do libation. He got a message from me. So I took my shoes off. I stood on the tree root going into the ground. I put my hands on the tree, and he started telling me, "Man, I'm so glad you can hear me." He's like, "Man, you humans are some funny creatures." He said, "But you know what the funniest part is that you humans be having sex under us trees, and y'all think we don't know."
I know that's right.
Right? He said, and so me and the tree have a whole fucking conversation. So I get back home, I touch the tree outside, right? Like literally, as soon as I took my shoes off, put my feet on the bottom of the trees, and I touched
Yeah.
the tree with my hands,
Yeah.
it sounded like I heard applause from a Dave Chappelle show. All of the trees in the neighborhood is laughing,
Finally.
right? All the trees is laughing, right? And I'm like, this is some weird old stuff here, right? So the tree was like, thank you, thank you. I couldn't wait to get that joke out. And they had a tree joke. I don't know what the joke was, but it wasn't for me. It was just for the trees. So when I finally touched the tree and they all bust out laughing, I'm like, man, this is some weird. I was like, and I hadn't had no mushrooms. So I know I wasn't on the trip. And I was like, what the hell? So So I go back in the house. I lay back down on the bed, and Tree come to me. He's like, "Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man." He said, "We
Oh,
had
that's
we
so
had a whole lot of catching up to do, and there's not a whole lot of people that come from my area to your area to transfer the message that know what they're doing." I was like, "This is some weird old stuff," but the Tree was literally told me what to do, and I thought it was just I was tripping.